We're back. Mom Proof is back. Oh my gosh, we're almost wrapping up. The art of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think we've nailed that uncomfortable part. There's been a lot of uncomfortable over the last
We all signed up for
weeks.
parenting and thinking, that's all.
Yeah, we got this parenting stuff. Sure. What's the easiest thing? I don't know, a toddler, I say.
Ooh, remember how hard we thought it was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but people always told me, like, the older the children, the bigger the problems.
And the more expensive. Someone else had it the other day. I was like, oh, that's so true.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I saw some girls go to a grad party because we are in grad party mode. I feel like we haven't gotten out of that.
How many dresses do they have?
Okay, well, here's what I was going to say. I love this. They switched dresses.
I do.
One of the girls had one on from the week before the other one. I thought, I love that you guys do that. That's super cute.
Why aren't we doing that?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. Well, you don't want to get in that closet.
Right. I sure do.
I'm avoiding it. I'm avoiding
Let's
cleaning out my
start
closet.
there because we left off there with avoidance and enmeshment. But comment, what do you think? Of all
it's
that?
tough. Our kids
What does that mean?
Avoiding, right? They don't want to go do something because they know it's not going to feel good or it's going to be uncomfortable.
Do you think parents are doing that too, though? We were saying that.
I think they might be. This is when, we don't want to judge other parents. For sure. This shit is hard.
God.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It is interesting to watch how other parents are acting with other kids, particularly when you see the kids. If there's like a college thing or let them go. They don't want to let them go. We're all dealing
coming back already. My God, they didn't even go yet.
They haven't even left yet.
When is your first visit back? Parent weekend. I'm coming. Like, Jesus, Mom, no.
Well, that's funny because my sister, I have a younger sister, but when she left for college, we lived in Houston, and she
I love
came
this story. You told us the other day in the car on the way to Jamie's thing.
Yeah, and she, my mom would go see her all the time. Like, it was like every weekend my mom was going to go visit her.
Did your sister want that?
No, well, I don't.
Cool? I haven't heard this story.
Yeah, we heard it in the car the other day on the way to your thing at the wine thing.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, you were there.
Give me
She was, I don't know. My mom just couldn't let go. She just, wanted to. And my sister was really cool about it. She was like, "Oh, okay, I mean, I don't remember her being upset about it.
I hope Avery's okay when I show up at those sorority parties. Do you think that's going to be an issue?
I think she would be. Have you seen Life of the Party with Melissa McCarthy?
Oh, yeah,
one of our favorite movies. Sandra, finish that though, because on that, there's more to that story that you were really talked about. Just we talked
mom
about
letting go.
You were part of her life then, and
right, yeah.
I mean, there was so much that was so cool.
Well, I'd come visit her too a lot because she was my little sister, and I just liked hanging out with her. But I think a lot about it with my daughter going off. I'm like, I don't want to impose that on her. I don't want her to feel like I'm following her, or that I'm trying to like get into her space, because I think for them it's already hard that they're trying to be adults, but then we're just kind of hovering there and we're not letting them go, right?
Hovering, i.e., that's where the helicopter comment came from, by the way. That's why they're called helicopter parents. Obviously, duh.
Okay. But there, I like it.
Because they're hovering. Yeah. But in the farther extreme is the enmeshment, all right? So you've got avoiding, and you're acting like it's almost, they're just leaving, and you could almost be indifference. And I might be at that point because I probably think that's how my shell should look to match my daughter's confidence. But then, and then there's like the hovering, and you're kind of helicoptering still. And then there's that parent who's so enmeshed that it's almost probably the kid feels a little suffocated, maybe too many tears in front of them. I'm not saying there's ever too many tears, but just that's a lot of emotion for the kid to hold.
There's a lot going on. I'm glad you said that, Kathleen, because there's a lot of emotion that we may not understand. I know we touched on this once before, too. In a divorced family, you've got mom and dad in two different spaces, and maybe they don't agree on where the daughter's going, but maybe one wasn't involved as much as you'd wish, so you had to make a decision. And I'm sure that's a very generic statement, probably happening.
Very applicable to many
to anyone.
situations.
I'm fortunate that Avery she knew where she wanted to go, so it was a little bit different in our family. But I see it in my friends, and it's really, really tough. You go back to that, letting your kid make the decision.
Oh, man. And
when they make
what
it,
happens.
support it. You help them to get there, of course, but when they make that decision, let them be.
Yeah. And we used to call it in my workplace, and this is not original, but I remember it from work in school districts, to witness the struggle. So we've heard that terminology before, probably for some reason in a training I had gone to toward the end of my career, 28 years in public ed, I might add. I may or may not be in my 50s. But I loved that term, witnessing the struggle.
I like that too.
I know. And I don't know if I'm doing a great job with that with my second one. I think I'm doing a better job with the first. And you guys have other kids.
When
so
you
what do you
say
think?
witnessing the struggle, you mean like letting them struggle?
Not to rescue, not to hover, not to come in and save. Now let's talk about if it's life-threatening. Like, we're going to always go back to that, right? People are not going to let our kids cut themselves without intervening or talk about suicide or see them binge drinking every time they party. You know, like there are going to be things where we're going to get involved. But overall, if it's not going to harm them in a way that's life-changing, we're going to have to try to pull back and let them struggle.
Not always come to the rescue.
And witness it. And yours, gosh, from across the country, that might be so hard because you'd be on the phone or FaceTiming.
I think we will be on the phone a lot, and I'm good with that. You know, like, you know, I have friends whose daughters went off to college or sons, and they talk all the time, every day. And
what if it's not that way? We have to let them set the pace, right?
Yes, I think so.
I'm not going with what if. I'm going to have a hotline.
Did I say the what if? God bless.
I'm going to have a
counselor. That's how we speak.
I need a counselor. I'm trying to act like it's all fine. It's not all fine. My director of operations and caring for Cambodia has a T-shirt. One of her colleagues gave it to her, and it says, "Everything is fine. Everything is fine. It's fine. Everything is fine."
What is that
and that's
from?
Just
that's
her.
really cute. Anyway, that's
but
cute.
she can handle anything.
Aww.
And it's just, as a mom, I think we think we can handle everything. Sometimes we know we can't, but they got to witness the struggle too with us, you know?
Good one. Nice paradox. Is that the right?
I mean, switching over, right? Making decisions is really hard sometimes.
Because when they get there, for example, we're going to have some kids that are going to want to go off to do sororities, fraternities. And we had a discussion on this about the social media. And, you know, because if they're going to, you know, rush, then they're going to need to clean up their social media, and maybe they didn't realize this before and now it's there. And then even moving forward, you know, we had this conversation over the weekend, like people are checking your social media when you go and apply for a job, internships, you know, jobs at school. And
Jamie, you said you check on your people.
I do. If you're coming to volunteer at our schools,
I'm checking
not even
everything. Hiring. You're just like, you're going to be associated with us. Ooh, listen to that, people.
And you know, it's funny because we've told our kids this from the get-go, right? Do you think that they listen to us because we said it? Heck no. But a sorority or a fraternity says it, they're going to go clean that shit up.
Okay.
Right?
We've had,
And that's good. That's good.
We've had moments. You've even liking stuff, people, and I'm not going to, you know, go into specifics, but you have to watch what you're liking, who you follow. That's that part of it, as well as what you're posting.
It's such a different level now, isn't it? It's, you are who you associate with.
Yes, ma'am.
But even another level on social media, you are.
Yeah.
Well, think about it as a billboard, right? Like, you are advertising who you are.
Yeah.
And they always say this one, too, as a litmus test. If your Nana, grandma, or someone you care deeply about, like your top 5 humans, we talk about who are their top 5 that they would go to in the time of need. If they saw the post, what would they say? What would they say? So I like that litmus test, too. Do you think people are getting addicted to that, though, to just using social media in an addictive way or an avoidance way to kind of lean back into avoidance?
I definitely think people do. And I think, for example, my son, he's still in elementary school, but he uses it, plays games all the time, right? That's his world, and he would rather be there than in the outside world. So I do think that these kids use it. I've seen my daughter sitting, like if she's upset about something, she will sit there and watch TikTok videos.
How long?
For a long time. Like, she's just scrolling through TikTok videos. And I think it's almost the same as binge watching Netflix.
It is. You know what they say? After 2 hours. So I don't know this about Netflix or binge watching. I know this about games and video games, because video games are programmed to hit the dopamine centers. in a way, right? We know that that's a big business now, right? For addictive purposes. But after 2 hours of continuous watching and interacting with that kind of technology, the brain literally starts to change in ways that are not healthy. So that's something I think we need to remind them. If we could just do a little reminders here and there, we won't have an ability to sticky note it, but there could be conversations where you drop that in occasionally, because 2 hours, how long have you gotten caught scrolling on TikTok? I love it. So I have to remind myself.
He's like, I can't sticky note it. Why not? Just put a little sticky note.
Well, no, but if your kid's at college across the country, okay,
right.
Anyway, but remember the 2 hour mark, the 2 hours.
That's really, really important.
Really pivotal moment.
I'm glad you said that, Kathleen, because I think a lot of parents, and maybe even younger parents, they may not know the time. Parents are more savvy and smarter today than ever before.
Sure are.
But with that said, so much information, one thing to know and share with, like my grandson is a little guy. 2 hours? Okay, got it. Now it's
when he's
in my
with
head.
Gigi, he needs to change your behavior. Well, so how do we see this with teenagers, do you think? So here they are now, transitioning into college, and they are cleaning up social media, hopefully. Are they
still
diving
on it?
into it? I know. Are they leaning in because it's kind of easy to go in there and just...
Well, they're looking at stuff like, for example, I think parts of it is good and parts of it is probably unhealthy, but they do use it to, what I've seen is, to see what's happening at that college. Like, what does the college life look like for
they're researching
such and
stuff.
Such? Right. So that part I think is okay. It's healthy. It's just like us going in and doing any type of research. But I think when they're constantly on it, seeing like, what is this person wearing, or she looks this way, totally for girls or even guys, it's also not helping with the self-esteem, right?
Lord.
And that could be hard. And then also like avoiding dealing with situations and just sitting there watching videos or reading posts. And
this is another opportunity for parents to make extra effort in showing that they love their kid by saying, not, you look beautiful today, but man, those are cool shoelaces. Just something that says, hey, you're cool, you're neat,
nice.
You're different.
I like that.
Instead of the whole, you look beautiful
cute today. Yeah.
Oh,
I like that, James.
And I've heard a lot of kids dealing with lack of self-esteem. And in being in that whole rehab world, there's so many kids that just have no confidence at all. And it's because the parents continually tell them what they do wrong and what they could be doing better. If we didn't hear this a million times, oh my gosh, you should play football. You have so much potential.
Ugh.
The potential you have, you don't even know. A kid does not need to hear that. You got to tell them that was a great choice of tennis shoes today.
That's
that
good.
color's
simple.
Awesome. Just really simple little nuggets of you're good, you're worth it. You're worthy.
Well, and a minute ago, we were talking about avoidance and, and affirmation and all the things kids are dealing with. But I thought about learned helplessness. No, excuse me. We were talking about the parents rushing in to rescue during the struggle. And it's like that learned helplessness piece is something we can implicitly teach, not on purpose. It just like accidentally by being too superficial, being there to rescue every need, providing them everything they want and need and desire, that there's no, and we call it entitlement too, right? But the learned helplessness piece is like, dude, you can do this. You can go figure out who your academic advisor is on campus. You can go meet your professor. You can take a minute to have a new habit that gets you off social media, like sets an alarm for 2 hours that gets you off social media. You can take care of yourself. It doesn't end just when they walk out the door and they no longer have us physically checking them. What if you're sick? What if you literally are sick? You have a toothache. Like, you need to get your birth control pills redone. Like, let's figure out how you're going to do that, people, while you're there.
Yeah.
So, and I think that goes back to also just then affirming light little things too. But you have to affirm big things too. Like, do you know how to do this? And let us teach you how. And at the same time, not having learned helplessness. Like, I don't know how to do it.
But don't you think that some kids maybe, even if you've done everything right, you're the perfect parent and you've totally empowered your child.
Yeah, no.
But then some kids are just built that way that they're going to doubt themselves and that they've picked up all of these vibes from
either
they're
social
not
media,
good
friends.
enough.
Yeah,
And,
the world.
and then, they're really struggling with their self-esteem, with their self-worth. I mean, as a parent, that has to be like hard on you to say, what do I do? How do I get this child from this step to the next step of their life,
A lot of it is cognitive behavioral counseling. I mean, it is getting help. It is not thinking that as a parent you have that ability. I mean, we get help when we need help for our kids outside of the house because you can't be your own kid's therapist. I mean, your daughter and you have an amazing relationship and there's so much good, authentic sharing. But I feel like you would even and maybe have gotten help when you're just outside of that realm, right?
Oh, yes. I've been in therapy most of my life.
Yeah.
I mean,
and she might have her own counselor. But isn't that interesting, though, that it's not a weakness.
No, it's like working out. You work your body out. You got to work your brain out, too. Like it's
social emotional part of the brain. Yeah, totally. I mean, what's your take, Jay?
It could be maybe something else is going on because I heard something really interesting the other day, and you probably know more about this.
Sometimes.
I heard a parent was telling me that their child has OCD, but it doesn't manifest in being really clean with their shoes and lining up their shirts. Their OCD is constantly putting themselves down. So the child repeats its
negative self,
and even will pause to say, I got to do 15 of these negative things, and I never had heard of that.
Yeah, you want to get help super, quick because that kid is crying for help. And that's the brain malfunctioning, by the way. And we got to remember this OCD is not a choice. It's like a chemistry issue in the brain. And there are medications and they're doing trials now even for new medication, which is hopeful. But the brain has to be rewired. And that young person, they need some help. That's not just talk therapy even.
Right.
Yeah.
We talked about this a couple episodes ago about getting our kids help when you feel like they should talk to someone else. I think that really is something that I know a lot of parents struggle with. Gosh, I want to get my kid to talk to somebody, but they never do it because they can't quite figure it out. So do you think when they realize there's something that's going on, and they want to get help for their kid, but then things kind of settle down and they didn't get help for their kid, then it's kind of back to normal.
Yep.
So as a therapist, would you say go back and get the help because you thought you once needed it, so the issue probably is still there?
I think you do look for a pattern. So the first time things are out of balance and you notice, you're whatever, there's fights, there's whatever, change of behavior, and you think, oh crap, I need help. But then somehow it smooths over, let's say within a 2 to 3 week period. I think you wait it out and see if you have another setback that triggers those same behaviors or, you see some signs. On that second one, you want to act, I think, pretty promptly because now that's twice and probably it was just you lucked out on the first one or something, and the pattern is showing something. And so you're going to want help and how to get help. That's always a question. Jamie, you had a good experience with calling some professionals that helped you with a bigger decision.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd say their name, Academic Answers.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also call, you can go to the Engage and Heal website. You can call me if you know who I am, Kathleen Hasenfratz. But really, your pediatrician or your general practitioner is also a great resource. If you don't have friends who also are connected. Yeah. But don't be afraid to call people that are medical professionals. They typically have a great resource list.
Well, because your child is not the only one that goes through that, right? Like, and you could have all the skills, could have gone through all the therapy, but you're just not equipped. First of all, we're too close to our kids to be able to help them through certain things.
We may not have all the answers. Imagine
exactly.
That.
I know.
Imagine.
And so it's better to do that. It's better to get the help.
Yes.
I mean, I teach my daughter tips that I've learned from my therapy. Awesome. Like I always tell her, because she has doubts, about herself or like, oh, did I say the wrong thing? Did I she recaps a lot of stuff. And I was like, I do that too. But what I told her I do is I'll get a rubber band and every time I say something, I'll snap it.
That's awesome.
It's just to acknowledge hey.
That's one.
Stop, because sometimes you just do it subconsciously without even knowing you're doing it.
It does bring you back into the present, doesn't it? Which is another piece you basically just said. It's almost like when we it's the new thing I keep hearing is about people disassociating. And I'm not sure how I feel about this yet because I feel like there's not enough research. That disassociation is a real disorder that's in like our big statistic manual of diagnostic and statistical mental disorders called the DSM. So when people start talking about this disassociation, I'm like, but
what does that mean?
Okay, so disassociation, the disorder is one thing. I don't think we need to talk about
Just
that.
in layman's terms.
Yes. This is when you are not present in a way that you can take time to go and reanalyze a situation. And then you're playing it over in your head. Like you're sitting right there. You could be driving and you are playing it over and you're redoing it. You're analyzing how you managed it. It could be a breakup. It could be
every conversation that you've had. Everything that you said to someone.
Oh my God, what a waste of time. I can't even think of that.
Correct.
Right now I'm like getting anxious and antsy.
Can you picture the amount of anxiety that provokes?
Move on, people.
And stay present. So Sandra flicked up
but
the rubber band literally.
it's not. You don't do it on purpose. And I'm saying because I do it. And I'm like,
we all do it.
I get that.
Some do it to a point where it becomes a function that creates problems.
That cripples them.
That's right.
Yes. And so if I knew you were doing that, I would say, come on, snap out of it. You can do it. You can do it. That's my point too. Because we get ourselves in those.
Well, it's a struggle to, and it does take up so much time. But not only does it take up time, but you're just kind of like
perseverating,
and you're just so hard on yourself. But
I'm on my counseling threshold today.
I heard and I read something the other day,
enmeshment,
that was just really resonated with me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. And it said, nobody cares what you did or said. Only you do. You're the only one replaying this in your head.
Hashtag that right
it's
now.
It's only you
replaying
it because that person the next day doesn't even remember what you said. They have moved on to 100 other things. Meanwhile, you're beating yourself up.
You know what people remember?
Good one.
People remember how you make them feel. Not what you said.
It really you've said that to me before, and you've said that to. Is that one of your quotes? Even
it is. It is. It's in my book. Keep doing that.
The book, which is available on Amazon.
You can go to jamieemilio.com. It really is important, though, for us to talk to our kids about all of those things that we have been through, and those nuggets of advice help. It may not help now, but it may help later.
Planting seeds.
I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, personally, I just love the concept of you teaching your kid things you've learned in therapy because many adults have been in therapy. Maybe we are now, maybe previously, but those things, and you could say, I'm sure you do. Like when I was in therapy, I learned because we need to destigmatize the need to ask for help for mental things because, if you had cancer, you'd get your treatment. If you have diabetes, you're on all the things for that. But, oh, my God, dear Lord, if we have a counselor and we mention mental health and, I'm really working hard in the community. You guys are going to see more of this, hopefully over the next 6 months, about mental health literacy and us teaching our community. It starts at our homes about how to talk about mental health the way we would instead of, either ors, you either have depression or you don't, more like on a 1 to 10 scale. How are you feeling as far as those depressed feelings? And then, nugget those out. Is it overwhelm or sadness or anxiety? And so we tend to want to go, I have depression or I don't. But really,
this should be the new dinner table
It
talk.
is the new mental health literacy people.
I think that's really good.
Thank
and we
you.
should
Listen
good
for that. We'll share it on this too.
On,
but
yeah.
I think it's important.
Well, we should add some of that stuff we'll add it to our website and stuff, like different resources.
The resources are good.
It's a great idea.
People can use,
It's a good one.
It's about staying bothered and doing something about it.
It is staying bothered.
Yeah, in a positive way. I know it's hard.
You could do a whole series on that.
I think we need to do a whole series on that. Let's do that next.
We should do that next.
Yeah, that would be our next one.
Can you picture? I mean, there's so much to
I have
talk
great
about.
T-shirts, too.
Also on.
Staying Bothered.
Was that on Staying Bothered? Okay.
Yeah. But it is, once again, it's the art of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. It happens all the time. I think that's, out of most of our episodes, I think that we've really been able to touch on that with sharing with other parents that it's okay to do that. You got to let your kids sit in the struggle. I like that.
Witness the struggle.
Witness the struggle.
It, which I like. But that means you're not involved.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying?
You're just witnessing
You're just witnessing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to let them go and make their own decisions. Support them in that. They're going to fall.
It's going to be okay.
But fall forward, right? I
Always.
think that should be a theme. Falling forward's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my districts, we called it failing forward.
Oh, okay. I like that
allowing
too.
the failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you learn from the failure, so it's necessary.
Yeah. Embrace it.
We're doing it. So here we are. This is just about the end, and our kids are actually going to be launching. We have to let them go. I'm not going to have any empty White Claws around my house for a while. It's going to be okay. They like pop up in every corner.
What is this? Why is this hidden?
What?
It's not even hidden. It's just out there.
Now it's not even hidden.
It's not hidden.
They're
using their fakes going down to 6th Street anyway.
Oh, yeah. I know. Safety.
Shh, they don't know that we know about that.
No, mine. I helped her anyway.
Oh, yeah, you're funny.
I did not.
You have a good sense of humor. What else?
But, I think that our takeaway should be that as they're going off to college or moving on to the next part of their life, whether they're taking some time off before they go into college and stuff, is just kind of making sure at the end of the day that they have all the resources that they need to be able to say, I need to talk to someone, or I need to, vent, or whatever they need, right? To be able to, it's okay to say that you need something, right? It's just like,
that's good.
You don't need for me to make your appointment. Okay, you can do that on your own. But if you need to talk or you need to speak to someone else, then speak up, let us know, because that's what we're here for. No one has to deal with everything on their own, nor can we.
No.
That's right.
And we shouldn't.
And don't forget, there are other outlets out there,
Yes.
whether it's a hotline, whether it's your friend's
988.
mom, whether, if there's
988.
something, don't wait until it gets so bad where it's just,
Yeah. It's a crisis.
Yes.
Because what we expect, and then I know we need to wrap, is that there's going to be mental health and real life challenges. But what you don't want is mental health or real life crises. And so if we can hedge them off,
Good point.
and just help each other and so forth on this release, catch and release.
oh,
Yeah, and I like how you say launching them, like.
yeah, I'm going to have like a slingshot. Door's going to be open. Bye, honey.
Adios. Don't let the door hit you in the boot.
No, I wouldn't.
No, we're not doing that.
I wouldn't. I put a little sticker on the back of my car the other day that said Longhorn Mom, and I had a big old breakdown. I was like,
Oh, that's so
it's happening.
cute.
Okay, I'm good.
A permanent sticker. Man, I'm opposed to. I just can't get it on my car without feeling like I have to face the car. Anyway.
Wow, that's a whole other
Another
series.
episode on a little OCD stuff.
Yeah, we've all got it. But I think we're all in this together. So that makes it better.
It does.
I think you guys are awesome.
Thanks.
It
You
is.
too.
It's
You are
great
too.
to have your troop,
Ooh, we have our troop. We've got our tribe.
Yep.
We've got
That's
the
troop.
peeps. This is it.
Awesome.
All right. This is a wrap.
Yep.
Till next time.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. Peace out.